My name is John Williams. I'm the Director of Bands at Terre Haute North High School, and I'd like to take a moment just to introduce you to our Patriot Brigade family, give you some resources and some places that you can find information about the upcoming season, and kind of try to hopefully answer your questions that you may have about this organization and what all it entails. First, I'll go through our Patriot Brigade handbook, which can be found on our website, and I'll take you to that at the end of the video. First part of our handbook is just a welcome letter that really emphasizes family. We talk about the Patriot Brigade as being one big giant family because, to be honest with you, we're going to see your kids more than you're going to see your kids during most of the marching season. And in fact, I'm going to see your kids more than I'm going to see my own kids. And so from that, we function as one giant family. We have a great time, we have arguments, we have fun, we do all kinds of things, and we really bond and grow some of the strongest bonds that these students will have throughout most of their lives. And they get to do a really awesome activity while they're at it. Moving forward, we do have some communication resources that we'll go through. The first one is Charms. CharmsMusic.com is our main source and resource for information that we can send out mass email through you. I will tell you, if you're not currently a student at Terre Haute North High School in our bands program, you will not have a Charms account until I can get some information from you in order to create that account. However, once you have that, you can log in following these steps, and you'll be able to see financial information, calendars, we can share files, and we'll use this resource really to email everybody in one quick and easy way. Another resource is the Band app. It's literally called Band. It was made for band directors specifically, but is now branched out to a bunch of other stuff. It's a free app, and you just search THN Bands. And it's Facebook-like, but you don't have to have a Facebook account. It's got a texting function where you can text me directly. We can have a calendar. We can make posts to send out to everybody with important information. I can share files. So Band is really one of our new up-and-coming resources that we are really leaning on to use for communication. We do have a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is THN Bands. It's a private and closed group. However, you just request that permission to join. Answer a couple of questions as to how you know our organization, and we'll let you in. Your students will get handouts quite frequently. Make sure good old-fashioned handouts. Make sure you're communicating with them and they're communicating with you on getting those handouts to you. And we have a new YouTube channel that you now know of at Terre Haute North Bands, where we'll share as many videos as we can, although copyright will get in the way of some of those, but we'll do what we can on that site. Bandcamp. For those of you who attended the in-person meetings or watched the original 2 meetings online, you'll note that there's been a change in our Bandcamp schedule. It's been pushed back 1 week, and that's because the school corporation just came out with a new calendar for the upcoming year that pushed the start date back 1 week. So Bandcamp is the most important part of our season. It's where students get to concentrate on nothing but marching band. We teach them everything they possibly need to know about how to do marching band, how to walk and chew gum at the same time, how to walk and play their instruments at the same time, how to march and play their instruments at the same time. And eventually it becomes the big show that we're used to. This year we're going to have 3 weeks. The first week will be July 19th through the 23rd, and that'll just be a half day. Those will be 8 a.m. to noon. Our next week will be the next 2 weeks, and those will go 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those are full days. They are here at Terre Haute North's campus. The students will be provided lunch, but you will also help supplement those lunches. You will be asked to provide maybe a couple bag of chips or a fruit platter or vegetables or maybe a couple of jugs of Gatorade, and then we'll provide cold cuts and sandwich meats and peanut butter and jelly and things like that. So that will be provided for students for lunch. Students are welcome to bring their own lunch. You can bring them lunch. Students just cannot leave campus during this, and that's for safety reasons, to protect the students as well as the school corporation. For these camps, it's hot. It's going to be in the middle of July and the first week of August. And so the first thing that they're going to need is a water bottle. And we're talking about one of the bigger water bottles that you may have used for like Little League Baseball, where they hang it up on the chain link fence. They have about a gallon or a half gallon worth of water. In fact, this is so important that we actually won't allow students to stay at camp if they do not have a water bottle, because hydration is the #1 priority at Bandcamp in order to keep our students safe. They'll also need sunglasses, a hat, closed-toed tennis shoes. In order to keep our students safe and reduce the risk of injury from marching, Crocs, flip-flops, sandals, those aren't allowed. We need closed-toed tennis shoes. Sunscreen. This is not the time to get a tan. Your students will try to get a tan and they will turn into red lobsters and it will be awful. Please, please reiterate to them that they need to wear some sunscreen. Comfortable, light-colored clothing, a pencil, their instrument, a small spiral-bound notebook. So we're talking about like index card size. Don't get a fancy one. Go out to the Dollar Tree or to Walmart and get a cheap one. If they come in bulk, share them with your friends. A Fanny Pack. And yes, we're talking about the 1980s style Fanny Pack. That allows them to be out on our field marching, and if they need a quick snack because they're feeling puny, if they need their drill books with them real quick, they have that right there with them. And they'll also need a 3-ring binder and some sheet protectors for their music and their drill. What to expect at Bandcamp. This will be the hardest and most fun 3 weeks of their life. The biggest thing that's going to happen is if your kids are anything like my kids, they're going to be playing video games through the summer or watching TV or not doing a lot of physical activity, even though we try to get them to do sports or something outside. And so when they come to us for Bandcamp, that first week is going to be rough. And they're going to come home one day and they're going to go, Mom, Dad, Aunt, Grandma, this is awful. I want to not go back. Your job is to send their butt back to us. They will be better for it, they will grow, and they will love it if they stay in it. Hydration starts before camp has even started. Please start pushing extra water on them 2 to 3 days prior to band camp. We do give plenty of hydration breaks throughout the day, but we really want them to start drinking water and really fueling their bodies before they come to camp. The typical day schedule is we try to stay outside in the morning to avoid the heat of the day. We'll come in for lunch, and then we try to stay inside in the afternoon and do music rehearsals to avoid the heat of the day again. However, this is a typical schedule, but there may be exceptions to that where we will be outside during the afternoon, or we may be inside during the morning. It just depends on what is needed for that day. Okay, again, lunch will be provided, and you'll help supplement that. Students are to remain on North's campus at all times, and we do not allow them to leave unless you come and pick them up. And if you come pick them up, they are done for the day. And parents are always permitted to come watch any part of our camp or rehearsal. Our rehearsals are always open. You're more than welcome to come sit and watch your students rehearse. Fees. Now for the nitty-gritty, and this is the part that no one likes, but it's a necessary part of our program. Our current budget for our marching band is over $30,000, and that's to make just the marching season happen. Very little of this is covered by our school corporation, and so we do our best as a booster organization, which I'll talk about in a bit, to raise those funds so that we don't pass on an exorbitant amount of fees to you parents. However, there is a fee associated with being in marching band. This is new for this year, so even if you've done marching band with us in the past, this part is new. All students, winds, percussion, and guard across the board are a flat $350 fee. $350 fee. This does not include marching shoes. They will need to buy marching shoes if they don't already have any. Marching shoes will be a one-time fee of $40 on top of the $350 fee. However, if you take care of these shoes, and of course if your students' feet don't grow that big, those shoes can last all 4 years. So that might just be a one-time fee for 4 years. We also have a $50 volunteer fee on top of these fees. What this is that we can't function without parent help. We need volunteers, we need parents. This could be just literally pushing a bell kit and having a student say, put it there, and that's it. It can be chaperoning on our buses. It can be if you have a 3/4 ton pickup truck, I can pull a horse trailer. We would love to have you help pull one of our equipment trailers one weekend. It can be all kinds of different things that go along those lines. We're asking that each family do a minimum of 2 performances. Those are contests or games where you come and volunteer. Once this obligation has been fulfilled, the $50 volunteer fee will be removed. And so that's one way to kind of help us out and to have one of your fees reduced. Your fees will go to cover band t-shirts. Each student will receive a gray Terre Haute North Patriot Brigade shirt as well as a show-themed shirt for the year. Instructional fees, it helps cover the cost of our staff and extra staff that we pull in that specialize on the different instruments to really give your students a quality education and experience with marching band. Transportation, helping us to pay for gas and to get to and from our performances. Shows, this includes paying for contest fees, writing the show, writing drill, writing choreography, etc. And then equipment and maintenance and rental fees. Talked about shoes. The only extra thing with fees is that if you're a color guard student, you will have to obtain some makeup items for our show. That'll be minimal cost, but those are not covered in your fees just because those are personal items to you, and so that will be just one little extra fee that we'll have to do. Continuing with that, each individual on Charms will have their own individual Charms account. This is where you can see how much do I owe, what have I paid, so on and so forth. Just a couple of quick details on this. Students choosing to leave the Patriot Brigade organization with money still owed are still obligated to pay those fees. Students choosing to leave with a credit in their account do not get the credit refunded. Those credits can be transferred to a sibling, but they will not get them refunded themselves. In fact, no refunds will be given in the case of a student leaving the organization. This includes seniors graduating. If you have an extreme financial hardship, please reach out to one of the directors. We never, ever, ever want a student to not participate in band because they can't afford it. We will help you with that. There are some discounts that we offer. There's a sibling discount. For every other student you have in your family that's in band, we offer 10% off of the remaining balance. And also, if you pay your full fees on the very first day of Bandcamp, we'll knock off $25 off of the fees for those. To make a payment, we try to not make it $350 all in one shot. So if you can see, we've got kind of a payment schedule here where it's about once a month you're going to pay around $90. And that's, so if you think of marching band costing $90 a month for 4 months, that's kind of what we're at. And that will help us keep on track, and that's hopefully helps lessen the burden of that $350 as well. For payment options, we want checks or money orders, and we ask that you don't give cash. We also have a PayPal option, which is on our Charm site, where you can pay with a credit card. The reason we ask for checks or money order is because then we have a tangible paper trail linking you to that money. We have had students before who were given a large sum of money to bring to school and either lost that or pocketed that money, and it never came to us. And there's no paper trail saying yes they did or no they didn't. So that's why we're really asking for cash. I mean, not for cash, for checks or money order. Tracking your payments. Due to the volume of money we receive, we ask that you give us up to 2 weeks to post your payment on the Charm site. If it's been more than that, go ahead and reach out to one of us and we'll look into it and see what we've done. But a large amount of volume of payments that we receive, it might take us a week or so to get those up. With all of that being said, we do an absorbent amount of fundraising. We have an event happening this summer called Chill Out, where we actually go down and work at the Indianapolis 500 or the Indianapolis Speedway. We do most of the races and qualifying events there, and it's running a lemonade stand. You set up and they provide everything. You end up being at the track from like 6 a.m. until late in the evening, but it's one of those where for every person that a student volunteers for that, they get a cut of whatever monies we earn there. And that the person has to be 16 years of age or older, but that goes directly to your students' accounts to help pay for fees. We've had families that have done these events and done all of our other fundraisers where we sell the typical sausages, cookies, so on and so forth. And they've done so well on these fundraisers that marching band's free for them. We will be doing quite a few of those fundraisers again this year, as always. And just so you know, too, this year is a Disney year. We are planning on going to Walt Disney World during spring break. The cost of that trip generally runs in around $1,000. That's for the entire week, and that covers everything, including one meal a day for the students. All the fundraising that you do now can go to that trip. That trip is for marching band students only. All the money raised here, if you exceed your marching band fees, that just stays in your account and can be applied to that trip as well. So there are plenty of ways that we can help make money so that we can lessen the direct financial burden on you. We have a booster organization. If you join the marching band, congratulations, you're now part of our booster organization. The cost of membership is absolutely free. We have our booster meetings every first Tuesday of every month. The next booster meeting will actually be on Tuesday the 13th, April 13th, and it will be at the Terre Haute North Band Room or Auditorium. And it's free to join, it's free to come, and this is where we make most of the financial decisions and of like helping to run the band programs, what are we doing fundraiser-wise, and so on and so forth. Parent expectations, the biggest one is just come support your students. A lot of times your students will say, Mom, Dad, please don't come, you embarrass me. Well, they're lying. I was in marching band, and the first thing I did when I got onto the field was I looked up to try to find Mom and Dad. Now, I might not necessarily tell my friends that Mom and Dad were there, but I looked up in the stands and tried to find them and felt comfort and a sense of pride when I saw them or when I saw family members there to watch me perform. Our students love to have people watch them perform, and they perform better when they're there. And so we just really ask that you come support them. We also ask that you help communicate back and forth with them. Our biggest complaint is that your students don't talk to you. I get that. But we really need you to bug them on a daily basis. Hey, what did the band director say? Hey, have you gotten anything in band? Hey, have you gotten a handout or anything else? And also to check all of those other resources for communication. Also, you're going to be a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft or however you want to look at it. You're going to have to drive your students, if they're not old enough to drive themselves, to and from a lot of our performances and our rehearsals. And we just ask that you are up to speed on when our rehearsals are so that they're not hanging around too late and they're not getting there 3 hours early and then sitting around with nothing to do. Medical conditions, once we get into our first May rehearsals here at the school, and I'll talk about what those are in a bit, we'll give you a medical release form to fill out to help us. But the biggest thing I want to talk about here, and you can read through the rest of these scenarios, is our COVID-19. I realize that COVID-19 is a thing that we're all ready for it to be over with. However, we're just not over it yet. And so what we're doing here at Terre Haute North is we're following all the school board recommended guidelines. And we're implementing some of our own based off of research that has been done specifically for the field of music. In our concerts and our rehearsals, our students will have bell covers that cover the ends of their bells to help mitigate the aerosols from coming out of their bells, and they will play with a mask on. We have special masks and special procedures to convert a disposable mask into a mask of which they can play their instrument through. So all of this, along with social distancing, is just a way that we are trying to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. The rest of the handbook just goes over some general rules, and we'll let you kind of read over those at your leisure. But first, I want to look at our calendar and just kind of show you and take you through what our typical schedule looks like and what we've got planned. First thing is in May, these rehearsals are including the 8th graders, and we're going to get the band together, and we're going to really try to get their feet wet on what this is. And we're going to rehearse on these 5 rehearsal dates in May here at the high school, and we're going to learn the opener to our show. This is a misprint, and I apologize that I have not corrected it. I will get it corrected, but should say performance at 6:30. Our high school students are actually performing a Pops concert, and so you'll get to see our normal wind ensemble and symphonic bands, and our jazz band, and our marching band is going to perform the opener for the show. So 8th graders, this will be a great day for you to get out and perform with the high school band as an 8th grader. June. We're real busy in June. It was a joke. It was a terrible joke. I get it. But in June, there will be some percussion rehearsals that just haven't been put up there yet. As soon as we get that scheduled, we'll let you know. But June, we kind of leave open for summer vacations. Here's our music camp and our band camps in July. This leadership day on the 16th is going to be for our section leaders and some of our upperclassmen and drum majors. Again, our band camp. We will have 2 rehearsals in the week between band camp and school starting. And then for our normal school rehearsals, we rehearse Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. That's to avoid the heat of the day. And then also this year we're going to rehearse on Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30. Those will be music rehearsals, and those will be spent inside for the most part. We do perform at every home football game. And we will perform from the opening kickoff, and actually before the kickoff or pregame, all the way through the end of the game. If it wasn't for football, there would be no marching band. That was kind of our initial foray into this activity. And so we're here to support our fellow Patriots and our football team. So we will perform at every home football game. Past that, our contests start in September. We'll have contests in Brownsburg, New Palestine, and Avon. Most of our contests are around the Indianapolis area, and we perform in a circuit called ISMA, or the Indiana State School Music Association. That's kind of our state-run music contests. On October the 2nd, we'll have an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. rehearsal. No, we don't rehearse the kids that entire time. Yes, they have games and fun stuff that we do with them, but it's our final push into our state prelims and our state finals. So that's why they're there, and we will have a community show at the end of that. The community show will start at approximately 7 o'clock and is open for everyone to come see our performance. Our other contest that I'll talk to about a little bit is this one. It's BOA, or Bands of America. This is in Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts. We perform there every year. It's a really awesome experience, especially for students to walk out on that giant NFL field, look up and see themselves on the Jumbotron, play to one of the largest crowds they're going to play to all season. It's a really fun experience. Yes, it's on a Friday. Yes, your students will miss this day of school, but it is an excused absence, and it's really a blast and a great way to finish up our marching season. That takes us through our calendars. I want to take you to a couple of different resources as well. If you go to thnbands.org, that will bring you to our web page. And you can see right now on the web page, it's got some general information for all of our students here at the high school, including where our YouTube channel is. One thing I'm going to ask you to do is on the very first page, there's a link that says information form. If you could just click on that, fill this information out so that I can have your contact information. If you know your student's vigoschools.org email address, that would be great, because that will let me put them into a Canvas site so I can share music with them immediately. If you could get that filled out as soon as possible, I would appreciate it. On this site, you can find our calendar loaded in for you that has all of the Terre Haute North Bands events. And if you go under bands, there's a link for Bandcamp, including the schedule, the calendar that I just shared with you and went through, and the handbook, and our dates and times. And if you go to Patriot Brigade, you'll find the same stuff for right now. Those websites will change a little bit once we get going, but there's the general idea for what's there. Once all of that information on those forms have been posted, I will be able to add you to a Canvas site for the Patriot Brigade for next year, where we can share music with you, and you can get music right now. The title of our show is A Pirate's Revenge. We're kind of excited about it. We've got a ginormous 30-foot long ship with a raisable mast that's going to have a couple of flags flying high on it. We've got a working cannon. It may not exactly shoot a cannonball, but it will shoot and fire, and it sounds awesome and looks awesome. We're really excited about this pirate show this year and think it's going to be a blast for everyone. I hope you can kind of gotten some of your questions answered. Again, if you have any questions, if anything doesn't make sense, if you just come up with something that you need answered, please don't hesitate to email myself at jjw2@vigoschools.org, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. We're really looking forward to having you in our Patriot Brigade this coming year and joining our Patriot Brigade family, and we'll see you in May.